It's time for Pucknology. Pucknology. After dark. Oh my.
Oh man, Sharks gagnatoires à nous sur les habitants de Montréal. Bienvenue à cette édition de Pucknology After Dark. Pour faire l'émission, utilisez le hashtag Pucknology After Dark. De poser des questions and... Why isn't this working? God damn it.
Because you're trying to speak French. That's why it's not working.
Dang it! Why didn't... Oh, where is this? Okay, no, that's not it. Hang on. Technical difficulties. You gotta love this. There we go.
That's not it.
There we go. All right. Recevez sur Twitter. If you didn't catch any of that, welcome to this edition of Pucknology After Dark, following a 3-1 Sharks victory. Yes, victory! They actually won a game over the Montreal Canadiens. If you'd like to be a part of the show, use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark to ask questions or comment about the show. With that being said, I promise to make sure that I don't use French speaking, that is. Oh, yeah, it was AOL. Of course it was. Yes. Actually Google Translate.
Yeah, just bringing it out early. just so you know I have it.
Oh, that's great. All right, with us tonight, these two hosers, AJ Strong.
Hey, I'm just here to bring you a little je ne sais quoi.
And from San Diego, Eric Landy.
How you guys doing? It's a win. I can't believe it.
Hey, like my lower third says, I love les boots, and I cannot lie. And they actually started out with a...
Wow, did you hear that comment? Just dive right off a fucking cliff, man.
But hey, you know what? They got off to a good start. They got the first goal of the game. Nice pass from Joel Ward to Patrick Marleau to get the game going. They kept that momentum going. I think they threw him off with Barclay Goodrow's hit on PK Subban, and the subsequent fight between Barclay Goodrow and Torrey Mitchell. He fights. What? But I think they
one of the rare times you actually see Torrey Mitchell use his hands.
Oh, and now my logo happens to be it was AOL.
Oh, your ass.
I didn't even do that on purpose. It was Google.
It's amazing. You would think that with this show being nearly a year old, they would let this damn joke go. But no, we're okay. Hey, as long as we're winning, I don't care. But the Sharks...
You do care a little bit.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Anyways, so Sharks came out strong early. I thought Montreal was starting to make a push, after the third goal. But the Sharks shut them down. Let's go to AJ. Your thoughts tonight on the 3-1 Sharks victory?
Well, aside from the Subban hit, I'm trying to understand why a certain amount of Montreal fans on Twitter are crying about the officiating. I didn't see anything that stood out per se. The Subban hit, I'm not a fan of that, and I think we all know that if those players were wearing the opposing jerseys, we'd probably be ticked off about the hit. I don't know that we'd be pissed off about the officiating. That said, no, it was nice to see them come out. They did the long road trip back east yesterday, and that can take it out of you a little bit, especially with the time change. But kudos to them. It took them a little bit, but it seems like once they got that first goal, everybody kind of relaxed. Like the tension, it was like, okay, we got it. Now it's, okay, let's just build on this. We don't have to play from behind again. So the tension's, mellowed out. And to anybody else, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, just do me a favor. If you ever try to throw shade or blame Jones for a loss, just fucking unfollow me now. You know, just because I just don't even want to hear it. You know, Jones put up, just made some amazing saves tonight, kept the team in it. So, yeah, I mean, can we petition the league to play the rest of our games on the East Coast on the road?
Well, I'm sure that won't help our revenue in the long run.
Yeah, because we're selling out so many games.
Hey-oh!
The Joko Vez is kicking in early, bro.
Oh, boy. Landy, how are you? What did you think of tonight so far?
Well, I thought the game went really well. I think the first period they kind of waded into the game, but that's kind of typical Sharks. You had Jones really saving their bacon early on, and then they kind of got into a rhythm, and then that second period they really came on, and I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of on the edge of my seat the whole game because I didn't know whether or not Hertl got traded.
Yeah, could the news on that come out any later? Like, people are just on pins and fucking needles about that.
Well, like I said in our prep, it was like, oh, it's Hertl for Stamkos. Yes, piss off Toronto.
Oh man, that would have been huge.
Yeah, you know what? I think that the salary cap is so fucked up from the Sharks' end that it's going to take a minor miracle to get anything of value, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and one of the things that Brody, I believe, pointed out, or somebody pointed out on the broadcast, I got to be honest with you, I was kind of working while I was watching the game, but one of the things I heard mentioned is, maybe it was Baker, but it's that whole idea of that we've had so many problems. I mean, you start off on the bad foot with Torres being out for 41. After 4 games, boom, Couture gets hurt, then boom, plays a game and a half. He's out again for at least a month. So I'm as they were saying, let's just get past these first 41 goddamn games. You know what I mean? Let's get everybody healthy, everybody going. Let's get rid of this bad juju, get something happening at home, and dear Lord, let's keep this up, man. No more of these 6-game skids. And I did point out on Twitter, I loved how Randy Hahn called it a 6-game winless streak, not a losing streak, a winless streak. Because if you call the Sharks losers, you end up in Edmonton doing color.
Oh.
What? No fucking. There it is. I was about to say.
Well, the reason why they do that is they differentiate from losing in regulation, which would be a losing streak, to a winless streak where you picked up a point because you sucked in overtime. I mean, that's probably why. But I mean, it's a 6-game losing streak. I was listening to TSN 690 in Montreal all day. They were calling it lost 6 in a row. Big deal, But yeah, they finally needed to get something going. They got the first goal, which is always a helper. They can't just stay with allowing the other team just to chomp all over them first, because otherwise you're going to be screwed. And apparently there's this psychological, emotional crap that they go through that they just are like, they let in the first goal, game over, good night, drive home safely. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, you can't let this happen over and over again. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said before, it's kind of a little refreshing that they scored the first goal and they didn't rest on their laurels, right? I mean, I think that they kind of came back and pushed the pace pretty much from the second period on. I mean, even their defensive structure in the third was really good. They were clogging up the neutral zone as good as Minnesota was on Saturday. It was just that suffocating type defense, and Montreal had no answer for it.
Yeah, they played their defensive ways throughout the game, and it finally paid off. And plus, that hit really did throw off Montreal a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of looked at them all, and they were kind of in disbelief that, oh my God, somebody actually hit PK Subban, and it was an actual,
a guy who was in the AHL a week and a half ago.
right, and it's like, oh my God, you actually hit the superstar, and it was actually a borderline hit. Like, we didn't know this was going on.
Right.
So it just kind of seemed like the Sharks pushed them off the edge a little bit, and the Sharks are kind of at their best when they do that. They did that so many times to Anaheim last year, and Anaheim just had no response for that, and it was the only bright spot of the year how bad we beat up on Anaheim.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I remember a game against Pittsburgh at home, and the Sharks came out. They did not look good, and I think they got behind the 8 ball really fast. And then for some reason, I don't know what it is, somebody leveled a huge hit. And I'm not saying go head hunting and okay, you're down 3-0 or whatever, so you might as well just go take their heads off. But the Sharks, it was one big hit, and then kind of another big hit, and then you started to have Penguins looking over their shoulders, and then the Sharks just had a monstrous comeback. And in fact, that might have been the game that Sidney Crosby had ever been held to a -5 in his career.
Yeah, that was that game. That was the 6-7 game, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a ridiculous game, but it was the Sharks playing physical. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying go out there and headhunt or anything like that. Don't be like Dustin Browning it up there. But go out there when you have the good opportunities to make the good, hard, clean hits. Take those opportunities instead of trying to, just get your stick in the way. Go out there and we've seen that, and we've talked about it a couple times this season where Burns gets pyloned just staring at the puck when you had the opportunity to play the man, get him off the puck. And tonight was just nice seeing that. But I'm telling you right now, rather than Torrey Mitchell and Goodrow going at it, because it was Goodrow hitting Subban, how awesome would it have been if that you just had both Subban and Goodrow come to center ice, you give them the wireless mic, and they go, okay, each one of you, 30 seconds, best Don Cherry impression, go. PK Subban would have won that hands down.
Oh, big time. If you haven't seen that video, you definitely need to check that out.
All right. I hate to be the knuckle...
Don't do it.
No, the knucklehead, anti-stats guy, oh my God, it's all about heart and grit. But listen to me. This team played differently with Rafi Torres in the lineup for a reason. When they were making big hits, the Sharks kind of got that invincible persona going on. Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna strut our stuff. We're gonna hit you, and we're gonna take the puck away, and we're gonna take your lunch money, and we're gonna take your lunch. And it's like when they don't get involved physically, I feel like they just revert back to that shell of themselves. And I don't want to be the guy that says, oh my God, hitting is the end all be all thing in the NHL. But I do think that it does give this particular team momentum, and it does get them focused on the game earlier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There is something to be said for, like I stated, not playing dirty, not headhunting, but when you have a guy like a Brian Marchment, who was known for browning it up at times, although I don't remember him doing that too much with the Sharks. A lot of that was pre-Sharks, but when he was there, it was that case of you had guys looking over their shoulders, not concentrating on the game because it was where's Mush. And you have that with where's Rafi when he's on the ice. And so as soon as you get something else into their head and they're not focused, yeah, that can be a huge momentum builder. And just, that intimidation factor, that'll be enough sometimes just to get people off their game so you can take advantage.
Right, which is part of the reason why they went after Torres at the trade deadline a couple of years ago. I mean, it can be a huge difference. The problem is, though, one, he's got to stay healthy, and two, he's got to hit clean. And we've shown it before. He has a hint of a scoring touch, which will make that fourth line better once he returns January 14th against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
That's the next game I have tickets to. I can't wait.
Right?
And another thing that I thought was interesting that the broadcast brought up was, they were talking about Joe Thornton and his two-way game, and I kind of have a theory of why he's kind of dropped off. I think that he's now drawing a lot more of the tougher assignments, and they're asking him to play a more defensive style, and I think that that's probably why we've seen him drop off a little bit. It also doesn't help that Pavelski kind of went through a little bit of a slump. Not bad, but more along the lines of him setting up people versus Jumbo setting up Pavelski.
Did Pavelski end up getting the credit for Braun?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Okay.
He got that guy. Goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that, I think we really have to kind of figure out where Joe Thornton is once Logan Couture is back. Because then when he gets to nibble on third line and second line talent, I think you're going to start to see Joe Thornton's points pick back up in a big way again.
That would be nice. I speak partially for my fantasy hockey team, but in general, I mean, Jumbo's still considered to be one of the scoring centers on this team, and you have to have him going, no matter who he has on his wingers, because they're supposed to make those wingers better, and it just doesn't seem like it's there. Which, by the way, means so we're bringing up Danius Zubris up for the first line full time now, right?
Sure. For anecdotal reasons, sure, why not?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, but I also don't think it's a long-term solution, right? It's like it's that placebo effect. You get it for a game or two, and then it kind of just falls off. But it does allow you to slot Hertl back as a third liner and slot Tierney back as a fourth liner, and rejiggle the lines and kind of spread out the scoring a little bit and spread out your centers. Now, I really liked Tierney's game playing with Donskoy and Wingels. I mean, he looked more at home on that line and more creative than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he was having that freedom of being more offensive.
And he was still very responsible with the puck.
Yep.
I felt like he was back checking really well, but I just felt that he looked like a player with a lot less burden. Because when you've got anchors on your left and right wing, and you've got to worry about them not coming back to the to get their guy, you're kind of playing a different style. And when you have Donskoy, who is a barn burner on the back check, and you have Wingels, who's pretty defensively responsible, you're able to be a little bit more creative and not worry that, oh my God, I have to worry that my right winger or my left winger is going to eat it on the boards or send it back into my own offensive zone or own defensive zone. So, I really liked his game, and to be honest, the fourth line wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either.
It wasn't the tire fire that we've come to expect. What have you guys thought about Goodrow so far coming up, Puck Guy?
I thought he looked pretty solid. He had a few chances. Obviously, the hit on Subban definitely changed the course of this game. Not quite sure if that was illegal or not, but nonetheless, it definitely got the Habs
attention.
It got their attention and threw them off a little bit. And so much so you had Tiny Tory turnover. Go and drop the gloves, to which I believe I saw on Twitter, PK came up to the penalty box and said, "I love you, man, thanks."
Yeah.
I'll take quotes Tory Mitchell has never heard in his life for $500, Alex.
So I'll just give a quick standings update. San Jose pulls back into the second place spot with 31
just goes to point out how bad this division is.
I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and I was saying, boy, thank God for the Pacific Division. Thank God how shitty it is, because look, I mean, you can go from 5th to 2nd in a matter of a night. It's a 1-point swing right now, and look at all of those rows that San Jose has. It's just they're able to hang in there and able to put some wins together when you've got 2 top 6 guys out. That's good, and they can kind of hang around a little bit. Now, there was one overall question that I kind of wanted to pose to everybody was, what's your thoughts on Dylan DeMello? and kind of the game that he's brought in the last 2+ games.
Just from what I've seen, the limited amount that I've seen, and even tonight I even commented on him, was the fact that there was a play early on the game where you had a Canadian behind Jones, behind the net, and he's kind of, moving side to side, obviously trying to get Jones to go laterally. And Dillon's kind of, trying to cover him, going with him, trying to, I don't know, decide which way he's going to go, try to guess. And DeMello just watching his game, DeMello just said, "Oh, fuck this noise," and just went after the guy. And I was just like, yes, because there's nothing. One of the things that will drive me batshit crazy when I'm watching a hockey game is when you see the 1-4 checker. There's a defender.
all right. I just gotta mention this. Ian Reed, Pucknology contributor and panel member, he just writes in, "I want them to find a D partner that also has the initials DD, so they can be a pair of double Ds."
But no, didn't. Okay, so anyway, don't worry about it. So, anywho, how many times have we seen where a forward is standing in front of the goal because the defenseman is behind the net, holding it, waiting for some place, and they just sit there for 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds, and it always drives me nuts because force them to make a decision.
Right.
That's my whole thing. Force it, because you never know what's good. They might have a brain fart. They might go to the wrong spot, but at least force them, make them. It all comes down to, as we've said before, make them play your game. Maybe they have tendencies to go to their left in that situation, so force them to the right. But just make them have to make a decision instead of just standing there. That type of shit drives me nuts. That's what I've liked from DeMello so far. He doesn't seem tentative. Now, he's going to make mistakes, as they all are, but at least DeMello seems that he's willing to make decisions. How many times have we talked about so far how Mueller seems just a lack of confidence, not sure which play to make, unwilling to make a decision, just kind of waiting for the game to come to him. He's reactive, not proactive. So, make something happen instead of just sitting there and watching it happen. So I've liked what I've seen from DeMello so far. I think he can take the 6th slot. Puck guy?
Yeah, I think he's played fairly solid. He's been, I don't want to say a defensive rebel as you described, but I think he's definitely contributed. He's taking smart chances as opposed to kind of like Burns at the times where he takes the dumb chances and just goes with it and stuff. I think he's pretty solid. I'm again a small sample size, but it's still early. But I like what he's seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, and he took about 11, almost 12 minutes worth of ice time. And, Pete DeBoer was saying, that's all he expects out of that 6-man slot is about 12.
What's Tennyson been getting?
He'd been getting less than that. I mean, he was like 10.
11 minutes.
So he's clearly making an impact on the coaches.
Yeah, and so, I think the best thing for DeMello would be to play a quiet game and kind of be what Paul Martin is to Brent Burns, what he would be to Brendan Dillon, right? Because you can't have two guys who are really squirrely back there and expect anything to be, to get done, versus having just a guy that's a little less squirrely, maybe not as offensively gifted, but, is a little bit more quiet, and you can quiet down Brendan Dillon's game a little bit. I think that would be a really big help.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the defense, Justin Braun definitely, stepping up his game tonight, which I had a conversation on Twitter with Andrew Bench as to why isn't Braun getting some time on the power play as opposed to Vlasic, who likes to shoot the puck either wide or into the defender's legs.
Yeah, I don't know either, and you don't want. I mean, I don't want Vlasic on the second unit power play. I just don't think that he's supposed to be. I don't think he's that kind of a player, and I don't think that he's kind of got that upside. But Braun, I think, has the ability to move a little bit laterally and get some pucks on the net. Now, he was missing wide, wide left and wide right for a little while, and we kind of were disparaged about that. But if he can get pucks on net and feed the forwards, I have no problem with him being on the power play. I mean, it's better than any other options they have.
Yeah. But Braun, Ian mentioning in the chat that Braun has been good all year for the most part. I would agree with that. He has been good all year for the most part, but I think it's also we remember how much I was talking over the summer going because let's be honest, he was stinking the place up for a bit last season. Now, granted, some better pieces have been put in place this season, but he was kind of stinking it up. And now it's a case that I think he's been given some opportunities as well, where you've had the injuries to either Martin or Vlasic, what have you. So he's getting some opportunities. I've been waiting for him to play into that contract the extension he was given this season. For the most part, I can't hate on him. At the very least, I cannot hate on him as much as that I can hate on Dylan. So Braun, he had the down year last year, but. He's working into it this year. I've liked what I've seen so far, but as we say, let's not start blowing each other just yet. We still have a long ways to go on the blue line.
Believe it or not, Braun actually led the defense in time on ice. He had 23:52 time on ice.
Good.
Yeah, and no other defense, nobody went over that, and the defense all stayed at about 22 minutes, which is good. I don't want Burns being out there for 25 plus, and you don't want to burn out Vlasic either.
Right.
And can we talk about Burns just for 1 second, just for one hot second?
Okay.
We've seen a few times Burns lay out. Right? Have we not? Lay out and has broken up a play. And it's, what a perfect time, perfect way to break that up. Blah, blah, blah. Tonight, you had one of the Canadiens lay out. I think, what was it? Emelin lays out on a and broke up the play. Sharks didn't get a shot on goal. But then, of course, when Burns does lay out, and it ends up costing him, then it's like, he's always falling to the ground. But you know what? Pick one. One or the other, man. It just drives me nuts. When it works, it's like, what a great play. And then it doesn't work. You bitch at him for laying down when you can sit and go, hey, dude, the asshole, the last 3 times that he's done it, it worked perfectly.
Right. I just think that fundamentally you want to be on your skates and you don't want to be sliding all over the place, because what happens if he slides and it takes him out of the play and you've got now one less guy in trying to clear out the slot. So it's a high risk, high reward kind of play, and when it works, that's fine. It works. But when it doesn't, man, it takes you out of position real quick. So I think that most people preach being on your skates a little bit more so that it doesn't take you out of the game. It doesn't take you out of the play.
No, I've seen some defenders actually just kind of like, play that role where they have their stick flat and they just kind of take a knee and slide back.
Yeah, and I think that that's a perfectly good option. I think that that's the kind of the best of both worlds. You don't leave your skates completely, but you do, make a little bit more of a lateral barrier, because that's what he's doing, right? Because he's trying to block that side-to-side pass in the slot, and by laying out laterally, he can cover more ice, and he's 6'5", so he can do that. Yeah. But me personally, I think that you're more effective on your skates. But I've never played the game, so what the hell do I know?
Wookiees have no knees.
Our whipping boy Matt Nieto had 11 minutes of ice time tonight, which is pretty amazing.
He had a couple of nice block shots along with Joel Ward. That's good.
Wingles Wingles, Tierney, and Donskoy had about 13, 14 minutes apiece, and actually think Wingles had 16 minutes. So that's nice to get some productive minutes out of that third line. I think that you're starting to see maybe DeBoer trust the kids a little bit more. And I didn't mean to wrap that, but I do like that they are.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I do like that they're trying to spread out the time on ice because they were just burning out forwards like you would not believe.
Well, you need to do that, especially when you're starting an East Coast swing. Let's spread it out, especially if you're going to have a 3-0 lead. If you can have that opportunity to ease it into them.
Now, the only person that really is highlighted for me is Patrick Marleau with 21 minutes. Ward.
I see you. Thank you.
Patrick Marleau with 21 minutes as a forward and Ward with 19 minutes as a forward. Those two, that just kind of screams at me like, oh boy, you shouldn't be playing those guys that many minutes because they're a little bit older. They're not spring chickens anymore.
Yeah.
And boy, Ward had that ass block. Did you guys see that shot from PK Subban? Or was it Subban or was it his partner? But he went into that prone position that AJ was talking about, where he has a stick on the ice and you kind of lean forward so you don't get your face in the block shot, and it went right off his ass, and you knew that hurt.
Oh yeah. Well, you do what you do to make things for the better of the team, and you'll ice the second when you land in Toronto tonight. That's for damn sure.
Well, crap. We've gotten about 25, 30 minutes into this, I believe. 25. And I can't believe we've gone this long without answering a question from the illustrious Slushy Jake, who of course asked on the Twitter machine, where was it? Ask the panel what players that aren't being honored would you want to be honored, but you only get one pick, though. So we know who's being honored so far. We've seen Scott Thornton, Jamie Baker, Brian Marchment, Marco Sturb, Jeff Friesen, Ricci, Nabby. Am I missing anybody?
You'll have Urbe later.
Oh,
Larionov, Sturm, Friesen. What would be cool is if they actually brought the entire Ov line back together.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. It was Sergei Makarov and God, what's the other one?
Johan Garpenlov.
Garpenlov, that's right.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see all three of them together.
God, Igor, I love that guy, man. He was one of my favorites growing up as a kid.
Yeah, geez, I look at it. The only person, and you look at who they're honoring, and I think they kind of hit it. They've pretty much hit it all on the head. Oh, Nolan is another one we forgot, but they've I think they've pretty much gotten all the big ones. The only one that I would even consider, and like I said, I think it's kind of reaching, is Bob Airey, just since he was the captain in '94.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's I would maybe consider that, or honestly, maybe even Kevin Constantine from '90, since he was a part of that whole thing. That's but let's be honest, the one person they should be honoring that they're not is the formidable and illustrious Drew Remenda.
Oh, you know what? Ian brings up a great one.
Fuck that guy.
No, he hey, Ray Whitney.
I didn't say that. Ray Whitney!
Oh, fuck, you just had to do it.
No, I mean,
number 14.
I mean, I think I agree with that. I think Ray is actually probably the biggest one that's left off, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had a good run here in his career.
He was drafted here.
He was drafted here as a second-round pick. He scored that overtime goal against Calgary in Game 7. The other biggest goal in the Sharks' history. Yeah, why not?
But you know who won't be invited here?
Why? Who?
Teemu Selanne.
Yeah.
Thanks for the missed open net. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
or Brian Hayward.
Yeah, those still give me nightmares.
What's funny is Rockets mentioning they're not honoring Doug Wilson, are they? which if you think about it to a point, they could have reason to. Let's be honest. If he was not the general manager of if he wasn't with the Sharks right now, for shits and giggles, let's say he's in a scout for like
Chicago.
Chicago, right? Say that probably wouldn't be a defensive scout, seeing the way that the Sharks are. But anyway, say that he's a popcorn vendor for the Blackhawks. Would the Sharks honor him, seeing as that yes, he was the first Sharks captain? I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah, especially since he's on that captain's poster and everything, and wasn't he like the last player in the NHL to be able to play without a helmet?
Yep.
Yeah,
So
last one.
I'm sorry.
Craig McTavish was the last one. He retired a few years after.
Oh, okay.
But he was the only Shark that didn't have to wear a helmet.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That if he wasn't the general manager and around all the time, I think he would be it. I would also say if the team was doing better and he didn't sign John Scott the year before, I would say yeah, he probably would be honored. Throw a jersey on, drop a puck, shake hands with Avs and the opponent, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
But speaking of Doug Wilson, I'll throw this out to you guys, as you know. If you haven't been around the Twitterverse with looking at Steven Stamkos, it's amazing how much a like and unlike can change everything in the hockey world. He had liked a story or like a link from TSN about how it'll be.
Apparently, I have somebody at the door. I'll be back.
Who is it? But basically, who delivered pizza to AJ's house? But basically, they were talking about how he had liked a story from TSN about how it would be great if Stamkos went to Toronto. Well, guess who Tampa Bay is playing tonight? Toronto!
Yeah, and he also liked a tweet from LeBron James about going back to his hometown and playing for his hometown or whatever. He did that last year. So it kind of started the Twitter machine last year, and then he did that, the other day. And, boy, I don't see how he does not test free agency at least. You just got to wonder, what he's going to command on the open market, what Toronto will pay for a top flight center, that they don't come around often. You'd think they'd pay a king's ransom for him.
I would think so, just because they need a top flight scorer in that club. They need to have some scoring, for that matter, and a bona fide leader. No disrespect to Dion Phaneuf. But Toronto needs a megastar, and that's what Stamkos would provide. My guess would be like $10 million.
Right? I mean, he gets paid more than Taves and Kane, I think, in my opinion. But if I were Steve Yzerman, I would be saying, okay, we know that he's leaving. We're pretty confident that he's going to at least test free agency. I'd call up Toronto on the phone and I'd ask for Mitch Marner and their Jake Gardner and maybe one more of their defensive younger kids, and really stack a trade and just say, hey, look, you know what? We know that he's going to test free agency, and we probably can't pay what you can pay.
The tough part is that he has a no movement clause, so he can decide whether or not he wants to go anywhere. By the way, those aren't my dogs. I'm just waiting for somebody to blame me. You're good, Landy. You're fine with the darts. Hi, puppies. Anyways, getting back to the point. So he can dictate where he goes, even at the trade deadline. One thing of note, though, is that he has to decide on, or if they get traded at the trade deadline, there's a certain clause in his contract or in the CBA that says you can sign an 8-year deal, which is the maximum now in the NHL, with the same team that you were with prior to the trade deadline. So if he gets traded at the deadline, that team can only sign for 7 years. Or if he goes a UFA, he can only sign for 7.
Right.
To which I propose this question to you, since we were talking about, maybe Hertl was getting traded. Would you go after Stamkos with what we got right now?
Sorry about that, fucking Mormons. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
We
I
apologize to all our Mormon viewers.
Okay, so the problem with going for Stamkos and trading for him is it's going to take a lot of assets just to get him as a rental. It's going to take a Hertl plus maybe a Meyer or a Jeremy Waugh or somebody of that caliber, and you don't have any kind of cap flexibility, so you'd have to either trade Marleau or Thornton, and you're not going to get them gone. So it would take a lot of moving pieces to get that trade done, and I don't see it for a rental. I mean, if anything, maybe go after him in the offseason and try and give him some kind of deal and maybe make some space in the offseason. That's how I could see that going down. But trading for him as a free agent or as a free agent to be, I don't see it.
Yeah, with what cap money, number one, and number two, no, I'm tired of giving up the future for the here and now when the here and now tends to leave at the end of the season.
Well, that's true, but if you can get... Well, I'm not even talking about the trade deadline. I'm saying if you can sign him July 1st. Doug actually takes a day off from tanning and golfing.
If you can make that happen, that's great. I just don't understand where they're going to get the money from, number one. And number two, the drum that I've been banging on since day one, our problems are on the blue line. Let's take care of that first.
Yeah, I'd much rather trade for Shea Weber or God, I can't even remember his name. The young defensive kid that they have in Nashville.
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones. I'd rather trade for one of the Roman Josi. Hell, anybody in Nashville. I'd rather trade for one of them and have some term, and you live with the cap hit, and rather have a foundational defenseman than having a foundational forward, because at this point you've got guys that are going to be fairly good. We don't know where Hertl caps at, but I'd say he's a 60-point player at least.
Well, it still comes down to the fact that the Sharks they don't have any money. They've overpaid Dylan. They've overpaid, at least in my opinion, they've overpaid a couple of the deals. But they've now, granted, you've got a great deal like Vlasic, so there is some balance in there. But as it stands right now, they just don't have the money to do it. They would have to move a significant piece. So are you trading half a dozen for 6 of the other? Who knows? But as we're both in agreement on it, no, I'm tired of getting a Solani. I'm tired of getting the forward. I want that Drew Doughty. I want the Suter. I want that
Shea Weber.
Yeah. I want that monster on the blue line. That's what I want.
Yeah.
My point is that Stamkos is only 25.
Breaking news. We have some breaking news.
Patrick Kane's streak is over.
Yes. Thank you. The reign of terror is over. God, I hate that guy. I hate him so much. Hell, I wouldn't even want him on the Sharks. That guy's a cancer.
And on our next topic, we'll use...
Anyhow, so yes, good job, Colorado Avalanche. You took down...
Colorado was the one girl that said no that he listened to.
But back to the trade talk. Yeah, as Ian says, you got to get rid of either Marleau or Thornton to get some kind of cap space back. And I don't see them moving the no moves. I think that they like it in San Jose too much. So you've got to kind of go and figure out what you're going to do with them around. And when they come off the books, you'll have $12 million in cap space. Who knows what will be on the free agent market at that point? Maybe you can wrangle in one of those high-profile D guys, but still, they don't come around very often.
Right. But my point with asking that is he's only 25. It would still fit in with the youth movement. And, there's some concern in whether or not Hertl is still the same person that he was prior to Dustin Brown taking him out and not getting suspended for it.
Well,
so that's why I throw that out there. That's all.
We got to remember that Hertl's 22, right? And you don't come into your prime until you're about 26, 27. So really,
that's what you said. Go ahead.
Actually, males are in their prime at 18.
Yeah, we know.
But so I keep saying but we just don't know what he's going to be like. We don't know if he's going to be a 60-point player. We don't know if he's going to be a 30-point player. And at this point, I think that he's got the mental tools to be that 60-point player, and I think that he's got the ability, the size. I just think that he's probably got to work on his skating a little bit and, maybe use his frame a little bit more, and then he can be that kind of guy. But again, as AJ has said, you need the foundational defenseman. You have what you're calling your future goaltender for a while. You just need to build from the net out.
Right.
I like it, dude. I thought you were just about 2 seconds away from addressing Congress right there. It was like, there are things that we know, and there are things that we know that we don't know. But there are things that we don't know that we don't know. And with her, we don't know what we know.
He's either talking like Madden or like a politician. I'm not.
No,
and that's Landy for 2016 Republican. Never mind. No.
We
know what?
we saw some sparks. We saw some sparks from Hertl earlier this season. I'd rather take the chance on him. We've taken chances on snipers before. I want to try to grow this farm system. Let's just as we keep just banging that defensive drum, fix the fucking blue line first. Fix the blue line first. And I think that you've got two kids. You got Mueller and you've got Jeremy Waugh. And I think together those two can do some good things because they are complementary pieces, and you're going to have a build out with them. But they're both going to be like a 2-4, 2 through 4 kind of defenseman. They're not going to be number ones. So you've got to find some way to either draft that number one, and we know how bad this team is at drafting number one defensemen, or you go out and you sign a 27, 28-year-old stud defenseman, and we know how hard that is. So then you've got the last option, which is trade for one. So at some point, you have to get that foundational defenseman, and sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think Vlasic is that player. He doesn't have the offensive upside to be a number one. He's a great number two, and he's definitely a 1B, but he doesn't have the offensive element as a 1A. He doesn't have the size either.
Well, he doesn't really play physical. He just plays kind of tactical with good stick checking and getting in the way. But he doesn't you're never hearing, oh my, what a hit by Vlasic.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily looking for
that.
I'm not looking for like Kyle McLaren big ass hits. Right. But it's there's not a lot of spark or flash in his game by any stretch. But does he do the job he's expected to do? Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's facing top guys all the time. So I'm all that. Let's see here. Hold on. And coming in on the Google chat, Ian Reed saying Hertl has been a fucking beast for most of the year. Breakout season at center. There is more to the game than points, which I agree with. And I think he can show more, and I kind of expect him to, especially if he gets more opportunity with Couture being out longer. But of course, Rocket and Ian going at it on the Google chat. Andy Bench says, Hertl is nothing, useless, garbage, trade him. And Ian says, yes, note the source that is coming from.
Yeah, I mean,
this is coming from the guy who's been banging the put Burns at forward drum for since the last time Burns took a shift at forward.
Yeah, no, and you've got to look at it and say, what are you going to get back for Hertl, and what space, what version of the Sharks are you looking at where they have any cap space? Because I'd like to know where you're getting the cap space from.
Exactly. And
now,
granted, they've got a great deal with Jones, right? That's a monster. But when you look that they're paying Jones what is it, 3.5, somewhere in there?
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah, 3. Whereas Dallas has like 11 million sunken into their net. Like, how the hell is Dallas doing so much better when they have so much money just sunk into the crease? And
no, Dallas is winning in spite of their goaltending.
This is what I'm saying, but they've got 11 million sewn up into that crease, and they're kicking ass in a very competitive division. And what does that go to tell you? They've drafted a shit ton better than the Sharks.
Well, there is a linchpin, right? And it's I'm going to pull up his name, but he just came out kind of obscurity this year and really played a great game for Dallas. And not to mention, Dallas reminds me a lot of that Washington Capitals team we saw early on in Ovi's career when he just got Nicky Backstrom, and they're freewheeling, and they, you know what, their guns a-blazing, and they don't care what goes the other way. So when you're playing that style, you're going to see a lot of goals, and it's going to mask a lot of defensive deficiencies on that team. But
Ian's bringing up that, obviously Seguin, Ben, Sharp, Klinkhammer, has been pretty good. But, you get Seguin from Boston, you get Sharp from Chicago. I believe Ben came up through their system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got some good pieces up there. But if you take Seguin and Ben and Sharp, would you say that those 3 players are better than Thornton, Pavelski, Marleau?
Thornton, Pavelski.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sold on Spezza, right? I'm not sold on. I'm outside of Ben and Sagan. I'm not sold on the rest of the supporting cast. And John Klingberg is who I was thinking of. Let me put this in perspective and air quotes.
Hold on. We have to get to the call of the night, of course, from Generation X. And he says the difference between Dallas and San Jose, it's called guys who want to play there, not just live there, because no one wants to live in Dallas. And I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Although the tax situation's pretty cushy there.
Yeah, that's the catch.
To get people to stay in that humid armpit. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I was just saying, outside of Ben and Sagan, I mean, I'm not sold on their supporting cast. Like, I'm not a big Goligoski fan. I'm not a big Eakin fan. Sharp
Goligoski, wasn't that like a shit monster from a Kevin Smith movie?
Yeah. Something like that. And so outside of Klingberg, Jason Demers is their next leading defensive scorer, right? And he's got 12 points in 24 games. So really the offense...
Aren't we paying some of his salary?
Yes,
we are.
So Ben and Sagan are really the motors there, and it kind of reminds you of Thornton and Marleau in their prime. So... outside of that, when you lock those 2 up, and as far as like in a defensive structure where you've got a line going against them and matching up against them, I'd take the bottom 3 lines of any other team in the Central against Dallas. And when you get into a defensive struggle in the playoffs, they're not going to be as freewheeling, and they're not going to be able to stand up to a St. Louis or to a Chicago.
We do have some breaking news. I don't have my little teep, but we do have some breaking news. Believe it or not, this is not a typo. The Colorado Avalanche are no longer last in the Central Division. I repeat, the Avalanche are no longer last in their division.
Yeah, they shut out the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0 when we aforementioned said that Kane had his 26-game point streak come to a crashing halt. And
so wait a minute. So the pages haven't updated for me. So that means they have 31 points, and Winnipeg is now in last place with 30 points?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, the Central is so stacked, and to say that their worst team in their division would be in third place in our division is telling you something. That's telling you that the Sharks are damn lucky to be in the Pacific. In any other division, this team is marginal. I mean, if not grasping at straws for a playoff spot anywhere else. So, you've got to look at that, and you've got to say, okay, if the Sharks can hang around and get their players back, could they win a divisional round in the playoffs? I think so, but you go against the Central Division, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and the other... Sorry, AJ, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with him that, yeah, it's going to be hard to get out of that Central. That's the benefit that the Sharks, provided that they make the playoffs, that's going to be the benefit they have, is that the first two rounds are going to be against other Pacific Division teams. It's not going to bode well for Dallas.
Right, and the other thing too is Arizona is going to lose Mike Smith for 8 to 10 weeks with a core muscle injury that I think he had to have surgery on.
Yes.
So they're losing one of their key pieces.
Who's made a really bounce back year from last year.
Absolutely. Vancouver just sent 2 of their players to the World Junior Championships, so their hot rookies aren't going to be around for a little bit, and they're struggling as well. Calgary's just starting to get on track. Anaheim's going to be coming up any time now.
Well, we keep saying that, but Anaheim, Anaheim just keeps finding a way to lose.
But then you have Edmonton, who just had their 6-game winning streak snap. I mean, Calgary's won 6 in a row. I mean, these guys are putting pressure on the Sharks, where they need to get their shit together quick.
And believe it or not, I think LA is going to go into a tailspin here, because LA will play Montreal next on Thursday, and Montreal is not going to be happy that they lost to the Sharks on home ice in the way that they did. So I would hate to be the Kings.
Well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, let's just see where we are come Edmonton after the season is half over for us at 41. Let's just see where everybody's at and kind of take stock and look back at that point. I still do. I still want to support Ian's idea about finding another 5'6" defender with the initials DD. I think that would be brilliant. I think it would just. How much are fans going to love just being in the stands, and when you see at that one point they bring out the third pair, you can say, "Let's see the titties." I mean, that's just awesome. But going into tonight, I can't remember who started it, but it got me to thinking, and I say, this would be a good trivia question for tonight. Name the Sharks. Now we have to put some rules on this. Is it? Oh shit! Eric already. No. This is for like the people watching, because we already kind of went back and forth on it on Twitter.
Okay.
But I mean, let the people have some fun. Now we're not talking about. Like I said, we have to lay the ground rules. We're not talking about a player like what was Pavelski wearing when he came in? 54?
53.
53. Okay, so you had Pavelski wearing 53 when he came in as a rook. And, not sure if he's going to get sent down. But he makes the squad. Eventually, he changes to 8. But he's been through the that to me, that's different. Like Gotch, I believe he started as 57.
Yep.
and then switch to 11, obviously, and which should have been blasphemy taking that after Nolan wore. But those are going to happen. So my thing is, what Sharks can you name that were part of the squad? This isn't a case of them being a rookie. They were part of the squad, and at some point they changed their number. Now, I'm just going to throw out an example. Okay, Nabokov. Nabokov started with 35, and then, of course, once Gary Suter was left,
Retired.
He retired. Act like he passed away. But once Gary Suter was no longer on the team, Nabokov took 20 because Suter was wearing it at the time. So, I put it out there, and I've got, I believe, 4 or 5 more off the top of my head. Sharks that changed it. Now, I'm surprised that we're not getting just bombarded by tweets right now from Slushy Jake, with like.
Come on, Slushy, let's go.
We'll give you a couple minutes with that, and then we'll come back to it, and we'll see what people said and see if anybody missed any. And don't fucking go out there and Google it. Just see if you can do it off the top of your head, for Christ's sakes. But okay. Anyway.
Speaking of Slushy, he wants to know.
I knew he was going to ask a question.
All right. What team had a better chance at the Cup? The 06 Sharks or the 08 Sharks?
Or the 08 Sharks?
Yes.
06 for sure. The top 4 seeds in the West all went out in the first round. The Sharks were essentially the top seed in the West through essentially the Western Conference Final. And the Sharks were up 2-0, and they just basically pooped in their pants after, Torres hit Mahalik. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
Slushy on a power play.
I'm not even sure where you came up with that question. Slushy, put down the Flintstones chewables, man. They're screwing with you.
Hey, those were pretty good a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, the 08 team was good as well, but I don't think it was as good a chance as it was in 06.
Hey, I still like 2004. I thought that was a good squad.
Yeah, I think 04 versus 06. Okay, I can maybe see.
I'd still take 04.
Yeah, I'd take 04 for sure.
Yeah, I think 04 we still had some toughness to our game, and 06 I think that's when we started to get a little too finesse, a little too just you gotta have a little bit of that physicality, and 06 just didn't have enough for me.
Yeah, and
the willingness to not be pushed around. Yeah,
and the fact that the Sharks went down 3-0 to Dallas. They weren't going to come back from that. Even if they did win that 4 overtime epic, they weren't going to come back in 07 or in Game 7 and win it. So,
thanks a lot, Brian Campbell. Speaking of which, Brian Campbell, unrestricted free agent this July. Your
Fuck
thoughts?
Him.
Fuck him. He can spin-a-rama all up and down somebody else's fucking ice. Not here.
You know what? I mean, and my major reason why is his age. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole at his age.
Well, and just going through some of the free agent defensemen come July 1st, pending they don't sign. Keith Yandel, he's 49 years old.
That'd be nice.
Dustin Bufflin,
but
you've
also got to remember, though, you don't have cap room this year. It's next year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right now, as we speak, there's 18 players, and they're signed to about $60 million. So you don't have too much wiggle room, but at the same time, you got most of your key players already locked up.
Is Hertl an RFA after this year?
He is.
Oof.
He comes up. Well, and he'll get a bridge deal, right? Because I think his camp will say, well, he hasn't had a great year, and so we'll try and get him on a little deal right now, kind of what they did with Couture, right?
God damn you, Ian! Why aren't you on here with all your numbers in math?
Well, no, I know that they did.
He's in the chat. Get on here.
I know that they did the bridge deal with Couture, though.
Yeah.
So I know that they signed him for a little deal, and then they gave him the big one last year or two.
They have 4 restricted free agents: Hertl, Matt Nieto, Dylan DeMello, and Matt Tennyson. I'm pretty sure Tennyson will probably be gone. DeMello might be iffy depending on how Jeremy Watt has been playing. Nieto will probably be like in sync, and he'll go bye to make room for Timo Meier. Hertl's the one that concerns me. Somebody could do the offer sheet, and
I just
go overboard with him.
Yeah, I just
because that happens so often.
Yeah, exactly, and not only that, but with his injury history, I don't know that a team would take a flyer like that.
But with the injury, maybe he gets a discount, from Dougie.
No, I just think that they get him signed before he even makes it to RFA, right? I think because they have that exclusive window before he goes actually to where somebody can off-sheet him. I think they get it done before that.
Right. So just a thought, and don't forget you also have Jeff Pilov, Chartier. You also have Goldobin waiting in the wings too.
Yeah, to me, I think the guy that you look at as making the big leap is going to be.
I want to see Meier and Waugh.
Timo Meier.
Yeah.
Waugh is just not ready yet.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying those are the ones that I'm kind of most excited about right now.
Yeah, Kevin LeBlanc.
Until summer gets hold of them.
I tell you what, Kevin LeBlanc and Dan O'Regan are the 2 guys that I'm looking at. Kevin LeBlanc was a big prospect because of his power play prowess, but this year he's gotten a lot of points 5-on-5, so that kid, he's going to be good. But the one that I'm really interested in is Dan O'Regan. He was the second. He's like the 1B to the 1A that was Eichel, right? And so now he leads his team in scoring in the Terriers. He's Boston. So.
Well, Rocket pointing out on the Google chat that Meier is killing it in Halifax.
Oh yeah, as the captain of the Halifax Mooseheads.
Oh, and Kenji writes, I swear, if they destroy Waugh in this system, I'm with you, Kenji.
Yeah.
I don't want him. I don't want him going through Royce Howers.
Go straight from Junior to the Sharks.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody is destroyed in the Sommerverse.
Yeah.
Back to the trivia.
He's gonna fire the bastard.
Back to the trivia. Let's get to the trivia answers. It's been 10 minutes. Of course, nobody fucking answered in the chat, you lazy bastards. But of course, the one person who did answer was Schleshy Jake.
Yeah.
But he answered incorrectly.
Oh.
He says Demers was 60, then 5, and Desi was 69, then 10. This is true. However, I said the rules were this is not, it's not about switching your numbers after you know that you've made the squad, which is Demers and Desjardins. That's essentially what happened. As I stated before, Nabokov had started, 3 seasons, maybe even 4, before he switched. Because
there was one guy that had a big bullseye right on him. His initials begin with a P and an M. Need I say more?
Yes. Now, Patrick Marleau wore number 14 for, I believe, the first 3 years that he was here. As you can see, Puck Guy so prominently displaying. Oh shit! Statistician Math Genius has joined us. You may talk after I'm done with my trivia. Patrick Marleau came in wearing 14. He was on the team. There was no way he was going to be sent back down, but he switched to 12. Then we remember, I know Puck Guy, because Puck Guy remembers more shit than I do, but I know Puck Guy remembers that when Rathje had been up with the Sharks for, I don't know, 5, 6 years, whatever it was.
Something like that.
And, yeah, under the number 40. Because, obviously, Pavelski and Gotch, they switched their numbers pretty quick. It was like within 2 years, it was fast.
Mm-hmm.
But Rathje wore 40 with the team for 5, 6 years. And then, of course, he got the $2 million contract, and that's when all of a sudden his number changed to 2. Then we have another one that was brought up. Todd Harvey initially wore 9 as a Shark, switched over to 13 in deference to Adam Graves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's pretty much it. For my scorecard, it's Harvey, it's Rathje, it's Marleau. Now, there's a couple that you could throw in there. You could say Hannon initially wore 22. When he came back, it was 27. But the reason being is because Boyle was wearing 22 at the time. Let me finish, and you can do yours. And then you, of course, had Friesen, similar thing. He left wearing 39, came back. Couture's wearing it, so he was wearing 13. And then the one that's kind of off, if I remember correctly, and Puck Guy will correct me if I don't remember it correctly. Is that enough correctly? When Alexander Koryuk left the Sharks, he was wearing number 15. When he came back from, I believe, the KHL, it was not another team in the NHL. He went somewhere else, came back wearing 97.
94.
Or 94, yes, you're correct. Well, who the hell was wearing 97 that I've got on the brain? I don't know. Anyway, but yes, those are the trivia that I could remember off the top of my head. No Google, no looking it up in a media guide, none of that shit. But Puck Guy had a couple more.
Yep, Jeff Norton. When he was with the famed OV unit, he wore.
And the reason why I forgot that is because I've been trying to forget about Jeff Norton for a very long time. But go ahead.
He wore number 8 in '94 with that great run. Left, came back a few years later with number 5. What was the other one I came up with?
Guala.
Oh, Steven Guala. He wore 17 for the 96-97 season, but that was given to Joe Murphy when he didn't make the squad the year after, so he ended up going with 36.
See, I want to say that there was somebody else, like Samuelson or somebody.
Marcus Ragnarsson wore 33 for a few years, and then he switched to 10.
Okay. All right, enough with the history lesson already.
It was just interesting. I mean, he mentioned Calhoun, Whitney, Ragnarsson, Miller, Airy. There was a few.
That was the one.
I'm just surprised that there wasn't, but I did want to say I thought Samuelson or something. All right, it's okay, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Science, bitches, with Ian Reed.
Science.
What am I sciencing? What do you need to be scienced on?
I don't know. You jumped in here for math. Go ahead. Break out your pocket calculator.
All I said was if Mike Green can pull in $6 million, I'm afraid to see what Campbell could still get on the open market.
Oh, fuck you. Let's see your abacus.
I have it handy. I'm sorry. Here, my abacus.
Oh no, I thought Ian was gonna go like, that's my abacus.
No, that's a very crisp JWS thing to do.
That would not be very Canadian of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that to my doggy face, you motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
Especially because because I should probably come on and eat crow, because when I found out Zubers was going to be on the top line, lost it on Twitter. Good time, scored a goal. So yeah, there you go.
Hey, we have more downvotes than we have upvotes right now, so if you guys wouldn't mind liking the video, that'd be awesome.
Well, I'm just gonna upvote it myself, because fuck that.
Well, you know that this is an upvote, right? It points up.
Yeah, did you guys see that there was some guy who came in on the chat and he's like, I don't know how the fuck I got here. And then I was looking at him like, well, then why are you here?
Oh, I thought that was Felix. I'm sorry, I meant Wendell. I like Rocket's comment on the Google chat. It's like, I think the clock is ticking on Summers' tenure now that he's got NHL level scrutiny on his product. That could be it, because you got to say that there should be the microscope should be a hell of a lot bigger now that he's playing in Doug Wilson's backyard, where they can actually see what is going on day in and day out, whether it's preparation, in-game stuff. Because you have to figure that a decent amount of the Sharks group, especially this month when you've got all these double headers, they better be there for every one of those fucking games.
I hear that a guy named Mike Sullivan might be available after the season. Just saying. He was a very good coach in Wilkes-Barre Scranton.
Yes, he was. It depends.
Is he currently coaching the Pens, or is he an interim?
He is currently coaching the Pens, but I don't really trust anybody coaching the Pens at this point because old man Rutherford is kind of going off his rocker a little bit.
Yeah, I talk about a tire fire. I mean, now Fleury might be out with a concussion.
Yeah,
There's supposedly so many rifts with Crosby and whoever else. Wouldn't it be something? The Penguins trade Sidney Crosby to Tampa Bay for Steven Stamkos. Oh!
Oof, as a rental?
Do you think Crosby is a lifelong Penguin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, then I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Now, something tells me, though, that with all these riffs that keep coming about, because those never leak out, right, Jed York? That there's something to this. Now there's a rift between Sid and Mario, or Sid and the coach, or Sid and Malkin.
Malkin goes first.
Yeah, do you
Your Han Solo gets killed for domestic violence in the new Star Wars too, so go ahead. Like, if you're just throwing out random fucking shit that isn't true, I'll go with that one.
Oh, Rocket, I love you. Fuck Crosby in the lily white bottom butthole.
Wow.
Wow!
You know what? I gotta say, I'm actually disappointed in that. I expect a little more from Rocket.
Look, I mean, Sidney Crosby. You keep saying Sidney Crosby rift here, Sidney Crosby rift there. There is a constant factor in all of this. It's Sidney Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
The guy. I mean, he's got all the skill in the world, but he's kind of a prima donna. And not even kind of.
I'm sorry. Did you call him kind of a prima donna?
I was trying to be somewhat polite,
I'm
but
sorry.
yeah.
Let me grab my dictionary here. When you look up prima donna, it's a fucking picture of him in that fucking face that he made when Canada won the fucking gold.
Yeah, I mean, but
JetX, tell me you got a screenshot of that, please, please.
You just gotta look at how many wingers he's gone through. I mean, Jesus Christ! If you can't even fucking put a goal-scoring machine like Phil Kessel on his line, then God help you.
I just saw the replay on that. Yeah, I'm so fucked on the screenshot, dude. I'm so screwed. You have no idea.
Okay, Photoshop minions, go!
Yeah, dude.
Please!
Dude, between
Finally!
Gen X and Chester Chivo, both of their heads just exploded right now.
Oh my god.
So North Star, North Star 17 is right. I mean, Gretzky got traded. I just think with cap recapture and how long his deal is, I don't think the Penguins would ever put himself in the situation where they would have to suffer through that cap recapture should anything happen to Crosby. So it'd be ginormous. Ginormous.
I like Slushy Jake saying Pierre McGuire wouldn't allow the Pens to trade Crosby.
I tip my hat to you, sir. That's the best tweet you've sent out in a while.
Oh.
I love you, Slushy, but yeah, no, that's a good one. You know, who would Pierre suck off if he left Pittsburgh? You know,
Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid's the greatest player in it.
No, can't. Go. Connor McDavid's in Edmonton. NBC doesn't care about Edmonton.
Yeah, NBC doesn't go north. You know that. The farthest north they go is Buffalo.
Holy mackerel!
And they do it under protest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like Gen X just said, laughing my ass off, like seeing 11 years of prospects coming up, and flaming out at NHL warrant visibility to Summers' fire poopness. Yeah, the prime example was Sunday, when the Barracuda were up 1-0 going to the third period. Yes, that's right. They were playing a tight defensive, not putting any chances on net, only up 1-0. And then, of course, they lose to LA's minor league affiliate 2-1. I mean, if that's not a perfect microcosm of the Sharks' development system over the last decade and a half, I don't know what is.
Oh, I can one-up that, because the game before, they played the San Diego Gulls, who have, for some reason, owned us at SAP. But not only, I'll tell you a story. There was a team who played the night before, got in at 2 a.m., and then played the next game and went up 3-0 in 6 minutes. That team was not the San Jose Barracuda. It was the San Diego Gulls.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
I mean, fucking Tyler Seguin scoring 2 goals 30 seconds apart tonight to beat the Blue Jackets.
Can you say that again, Tyler? What?
Sagan scoring 2 goals in 30 seconds apart.
You almost got him, lady.
And just a quick cheers to Gen X, who is too busy drinking to Photoshop. I appreciate that, good sir.
I think he's either watching a video on Fallout 4 or
I don't
he's
give a
playing
fuck
Fallout
what
4.
I don't care what he's watching. He's too busy to Photoshop, and I appreciate that very much, good sir. Happy Star Wars to you this week.
Wow, really? Way to be on the top of it. Wow. That's like a summer effort right there. But
Hey, Ian, is there any hotshot junior coach that you think would be a good fit for the Barracuda?
Well, that's a good question. Wow, I don't know. What's you know who I would like to see get another shot, like even in the AHL? What's Guy Boucher doing?
Oh yeah.
He just left his contract from his European team.
Yeah, I like to see. I know that might be divisive with some people, but I would like to see a guy like Guy Boucher come in and see what they can do with the Barracuda.
That would be good. Or they should have grabbed Dallas Aikens when he was available. But
oh my god! Anaheim has just hoarded ex-coaches. They're just waiting to fire Boudreau.
Right? I mean, that's why they brought Eakin over.
How funny would it be for the Sharks to hire as the next coach, your next coach of the San Jose Barracuda, Kevin Constantine?
You know what would be the ultimate troll though? Your next.
Al Sims would be the ultimate troll.
No. Drew Remenda, come on now.
No, he's got better things to do. He's got better things to do.
And Chris JWS, he swoops in where Generation X-Wing is.
What the fuck is that, dude? I don't even know what that is, dude. I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, it's kind of funny, but I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to be.
That's Van Gogh and that's Scream. Come on now.
Dude, I'm sorry, I wasn't a fucking art history major. I was busy getting laid in college.
Oh, man.
Hey, I studied electrical engineering in college. Thank you very much.
Oh, in the words of Christian Bale, good for you. Okay. Hold on. There was a couple. Oh, okay. Slushy Jake. I'm sorry. You're going to be very hard pressed. Oh, and Rocket Backhander coming in, correcting you, saying it is not Van Gogh.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we'll say, okay, you guys can deal with that later. But on the Twitter, and I'm sure we're gonna go around the room on this, and I want to hear honest fucking opinions on this. Who is worse, Pierre McGuire? Now we're talking complete body of work, not popularity, just what they give to the general population of hockey. Pierre McGuire, Roy Sommer, Andrew Bench. Go, Laney.
Wow.
So, okay, what was the question again? Who gives the better?
Who's worse? Pierre Maguire, Roy Sommer, Andrew Bench. Now, I'm not talking as an individual. I'm just, at their job, what they bring. Because obviously, Maguire is a national personality. Sommer, smaller, and then Bench, the three people that listen to his posts regularly.
All right, I guess I'll go with Pierre. Then I'll go with. Oh, Jesus! I just keep thinking about how bad all three of them are. Let's go. Okay, let's go Sommer. Let's go Pierre. Let's go Bench. So
that, my friend, is the correct order.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Because I do like the tidbits that Pierre brings. I think it's interesting, but I cannot stand his voice. And I cannot stand the fact that the other announcers just pretend he's not there. And he's like, back to you, Enzo, and then it's like Doc is talking, okay, and now we're going back to the second period, and it's just like, it's funny because they act like he's not there. Back to you, Enzo.
And I love Jay Clark on the Google chat. Oh, Bench was mentioned. Take a drink. Hey, what is this? Slushy says, ask on show, what happened to Sharks Weekly? What the fuck is Sharks Weekly?
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not sure. Or was it something on 95.7?
I was wondering if it was something on CSN, but
I know there's an email that I know there's something email-wise that the Sharks usually do.
Okay, hey, Jake, tell us what the fuck Sharks Weekly is, and then we'll tell you what happened to it.
Yes.
That sounds good. I will say, though, I'm kind of disappointed. As much as we all fucking totally love Brody, I'm kind of disappointed that we're 30 games in. I mean, we're 3 months into this thing, and there's only been 2 episodes of Shark Bite. Like, didn't Drew, put out one, every 2 weeks?
Drew used to put one out every...
Maybe 3 weeks?
3 weeks, maybe a month. But yeah, I think they've been going to just a monthly edition.
It's not even monthly, dude. Well, like I said, dude, we're 2 weeks out from December. There's only been 2 episodes so far, and the first one rolled for the first up until Thanksgiving.
All right, I gotta stop you here. Dylan Martin fires back.
Here we go. What's happening?
No, he says number 1 is definitely Bench. The other 2 have real jobs at least.
Yeah, no, it's obviously Bench because the other 2 still have their credentials, right?
No, they have real jobs.
Well, same. Holy crap. Okay, Gen X asking where is Shark Bite? Chances are, because that is another problem too. I've never seen them put that on YouTube, and I don't know why they wouldn't. When you consider all the other things they've put on there, maybe that's something we should ask Brody the next time we're fortunate enough to have him as a guest. That would be really cool, I think. We might have to, one of us might have to record that and shoot that up to our buddy Gen X, so it might be the one thing that he doesn't get up there. And then, okay, oh boy, this one, you're all gonna. Is Eric frozen or is he just standing still? Okay, never mind.
Something. Go ahead.
Oh, he's working on something. No doubt, another fucking Photoshop. Anyway, we're gonna go around the room from Slushy, of course, because no one asked. No one else. There are fucking 40 people watching us right now. We keep getting questions from the same one person. Do you not want any? Okay. Who's more full of themselves, or just Kevin Kurz or Skip Bayless? Beyond reproach, it's not even a contest. It's Skip Bayless. Moving on. Yeah, it's not. That's not even debatable. Let me see. Gen X saying no. I get CSN California on DirecTV. Well, then I don't know. Figure out how the DVR works, bro. Search. No, I'm not trying to well, okay, that was a little snarky. It's a sketch, just a sketch. Yeah, dude, just search Shark Bite. Get it on there. It's it's not the end all be all, but they have some pretty funny stuff on there. Of course, I believe Eric and myself were in the last episode.
Was I? I haven't even seen that one.
I thought we were both on there for a second.
I know you were because you were talking. I think it was like.
When am I not talking?
That's true. That's very true. You not talking. That's like the Sharks on the power play.
All right,
Not doing anything.
All right, well, let's take a look at the schedule coming up. We're still on the road, of course, and we will be heading off to Toronto next, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, Eric.
That's actually worse, actually. Oh, wait, whoa, what the hell is that? Okay, now that's
That was
funny.
pretty quick. That was pretty quick.
It took
Three
me
more
a
times.
second.
What is it?
It took me a second to understand what the fuck it was, but now, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucking good. I like that. Because Chris just tried to throw out like a more artistic thing on Twitter, and it kind of sucked. I got to be honest with you. The first one was better. But the Home Alone thing, okay, dude, that's pretty good. I give you props for that.
Okay, all right.
wait,
sorry.
Gen X is answering the question. There have been 2 Shark Bite shows. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah.
Okay, dude, that was Gen X. Bro, Patrick, that was my whole fucking point. There's only been 2. Was I not speaking English earlier?
So anyhow, we're playing the Maple Leafs on Thursday at 4:30.
Oh, fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. That's my thought. Yeah, I'm channeling my inner Rocket backhander. Fuck those guys.
All right, Ian, what do you think?
Look, Toronto. This is a team that the Sharks should win. I'll be very disappointed if they don't win this game. Toronto's a mess. Period.
They suck. They suck.
I expect at least a 6-point night from Joe Thornton just to crap all over Toronto.
Dude, I just want 4 goals. Just once. That's all I want.
Please.
Yeah. Puck Guy, what's your thoughts on the game against Toronto?
I think everybody's going to be coming off of a Steven Stamkos high and guessing on what the new Leafs logo will be next year, and they will come out, and the Sharks will come out victorious. And they are due for a good for putting on a ass whooping. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go flip side on that. If I think the Sharks get the win unless Toronto goes with their backup goalie, and if that's the case, then they get shut out 4-0.
But they're all bad.
And Gen X excuse me, Rocket Backhander says a big old Canadian pot leaf. Thank you, Trudeau. That's the Maple Leafs new logo, a pot leaf.
I mean, this is a team with 26 points. They've allowed what, almost 90 goals. Like, come on.
Did you hear about the Toronto Leafs new goal song this season? I was gonna score a goal, but then I got high.
That's gonna be every city in Canada.
With the green leaf, that would be perfect. I'm gonna figure out how to do that.
See, and I thought it was gonna be smoke 2 joints in the morning. Smoke 2 joints.
No, that'll be Vancouver.
Either one.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think out of the back-to-backs between Toronto and Ottawa, I think they pick up the win in Toronto. Ottawa, on the other hand, I'm not so sure of. But
I'm not so confident on that.
Yeah, I'm feeling OT in Ottawa.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, that's kind of a.
Okay, Gen X lighting me up again. Dude, am I wearing a fucking Target on this jersey? Dude, I just said what Toronto's new goal song would be, and he's like, dude, haven't you ruined enough goal songs?
Yeah. All right, Puck Guy, take us home before this thing goes completely off the rails.
Dude, hold on. Kenji on the Google check pointing out that because I got high, I thought that was Colorado's song.
He's had way too much case of the munchies over there.
Oh my god, that's so good. Fuck, Gen X, dude. Right. What did I do to upset you so much?
Okay, with that being said, Sharks gagnent un sur trois for AJ Strong, Ian Reed, Eric Landy, Chris JWS, Gentry Alexander, Wendell McGowan, Rocket Backhander, and Daryl Martin, and Wendell McGowan, and
Felix.
And
Jesus
Felix,
Christ, it's a cast of
Randall
thousands.
Hahn,
It's a
a
cast of
cast of
thousands.
11 billion.
Hold on,
Keep it
before
real?
you go. Hold on, before you go.
Oh,
Before you go, let's leave on a laugh. Landy, screenshot Chris JWS's last one and throw it up there.
But
You
we
have to do it.
already posted it.
Did you see what he captioned it?
What did he caption it?
This is what I'm saying.
The face. Oh, okay. all right.
Fuck you, that's pretty fucking funny, man.
It's not really that funny.
It's
Oh,
kind of
hold on. Slushy Jake saying, duh, you are wearing a target on your jersey because you're wearing a Scott Hannon jersey, for fuck's sakes. I will remind you, this has
It's a Boyle jersey.
jersey.
All right, there you go.
just leave that up there while I wrap it up.
wow.
Yes.
Yes, do that.
Keep the. Now you can go to bed with that face that you make when the salt's kicked.
All right. That's not bath salts. That's PCP. Okay. All right.
I wouldn't know.
Dude, that's the face you make when Joe Thornton scores the 4th goal.
All right. Let's take it out, Eric. Bring it. Let's just end this thing.
Just end it. Let's just go.